is that goal impossible to achieve? The guy said, no, it's a SMART goal. He's obviously been to one of my workshops. But he said it's a SMART goal. No, it's perfectly achievable. It's realistic. Richard Branson said to him, I'm only interested in impossible goals. I want to change the industry. And I thought, wow, what a smart ass. David Brailsford, anyone know who David Brailsford is? Yeah, he's the guy that transformed British cycling. Up until he took over, no British person had won the Tour de France for over 100 years. Since he took over, they won 6 out of the last 7 Tour de France's. And he says, I like to think of seemingly unachievable goals and then work backwards. Okay, so there is something in that. You can set very high goals. You've got to be careful, though. My rule of thumb is, if you always set goals and you always achieve them, your targets are too low. Your goals are too low. If you set goals and you never achieve them, you've got to get them down a bit. So it's very difficult to know where to frame it. My favourite thing, though, when I set my target is think of the best version of me. If I turned up to work every day as the best version of me, what could I achieve in that year? Okay, and that's enough to be motivating, to give me a goal that I think, you know what, this is going to be a fantastic year, to get me up early in the morning, to make me work late at night. That's what I think goal setting is about. So your 60 seconds, the first 30 seconds are going to come up soon, guys. 30 seconds of complete concentration. And I'm going to get you to write down a goal for next year. I'm not going to share it with anyone, so it's just your personal goal. To make it easy, I'm going to just share with you, because it's obviously better to see it visually, what our goal was at AVRillo. Okay? So our goal was an abortive rate of 8% on the 31st of December this year, and to double profits of the agents that we work with. So we've said it's going to be smart, isn't it? It's going to be achievable. Well, ours was achievable for us, because the year before we achieved an abortive rate of 9%, so it was achievable for us. Double the profits of the agents we work with? Well, we were doing it for some of agents. We wanted it for all the agents that we were working with. So I want you, please, I'll give you 30 seconds. You'll promise me to give me 90 seconds of your life. So please, can you write down your goals for next year? I'll give you 30 seconds. You can change it. Doesn't have to. You're not set in stone. You can change it. Think to yourself, is it specific? You know, what exactly is it going to be? It can't be a general thing. It can't be, I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. It can't be that, because making more money, I'll give you £1 when you leave and you've made more money if you set your goal up for next year. It's got to be measurable. When do you know you've achieved it? When are you going to do it by? Okay, you've done your first 30 seconds. How does that feel? Look at that. Whoa. You can see some real energy in the room now. Not. No, I can see. No, it's really good. This is what we need to. Because what happens? What generally happens is when we go away from these events, life takes over. You get into the office. There's a problem. There's a call. You don't do this stuff. People probably invest more time thinking about what they're going to do on their holiday next year than setting their goals for the year. Is that probably about right? It is. Is that probably about right? Yeah, it is. So the next thing we'll look at is strategy. We've seen what we want to achieve. We've seen our goal, but how do we do that? That's the strategy. So again, let me give you some examples, because again, your next 30 seconds is going to be your strategy. So Clive Woodward, who took the English rugby team to winning the Rugby World Cup, his strategy, very simple, excellence. That was his strategy. It can be something as simple as that, something that everyone can get. Steve Jobs, when he went back to Apple after he was dismissed, his objective was survival, because the company was in a very bad way. His strategy was simplification. It can be as simple as your strategy needs to be easy. It needs to be. We'll come on to how you're going to do your strategy, but it needs to be easy. It needs to be your strategy. Who's got a strategy here at work? Who's got a concept that they feel? Bob always has 3 people. 4 people. So you need a strategy, because how do you know how you're going to achieve your goal? You need it. You need to think about it. You need to take the time to think about it. Get your team involved in strategy. You can debate it. It's good to have an argument sometimes. Ultimately, once you debate it, leaders need to make the decision. It's like the SAS. The SAS, when they make a decision about what they're going to do, they consult everyone in the team, because they're all elite. But then one person makes a decision and everyone follows it, but they're all fully bought in. That's what you're going to have at your office. Step number 2, once you've got your strategy, write it down. We're so busy, we can't even write these things down. We've got to write them down because it really works. Then you've got to tell people about it. Jack Welch, who is the CEO of General Electric, said you have to talk about your vision constantly, basically to the point you're gagging. You know, you might have visions, you might have goals, but how many times do you really communicate that clearly to your staff? Anyone's got a staff here? How many times do you clearly communicate it to yourself? Yeah, this is going to be a regular thing. You've got to do it to the point you're actually feeling sick. So, I would like you to write down your strategy. Let me share my strategy. It gives you an example of what you can do. So our strategy to achieve those goals was to have a world-class service. I think that's nice and simple. I think it's the way that people can measure. So if someone takes a call, the question after you finish that call, was that world-class? Was that better than anyone in the world? Our other strategy was to be indispensable to estate agents and clients. Well, again, we could apply that because when we got off a call, when we finished doing something, did we do something that no one else can do in the country? Did we do something special? Are we indispensable? So that was our strategy. It was a very simple thing to be followed. So again, please, your next 30 seconds starts now. Think of your strategy. How are you going to do it? And you can change it, and you can debate it. It's not a problem, but just have an idea because tomorrow will come and you'll be busy at the office. So it's going to be simple. Maybe if you know your strategy, work out how you're going to communicate it to everyone. Okay. We said, so you got your goal, you know what you want to do, you know how you're going to do it. The next thing we need to do is our tactics. What do we need to do daily to make sure we're achieving what we want to achieve? So Pep Guardiola is the current manager of Manchester City. So he's won at Barcelona, he's won at Bayern Munich, and now he's winning at Manchester City. He's got a very simple strategy, objective, and tactic. His objective is simple: win everything. That's a good goal to have. His strategy is play better football than anyone else. You know, it's simple. Yeah. His tactic is, again, very simple. When we have the ball, we can't lose it. And when that happens, we run back and get it. I mean, how beautiful is that? It's so easy to follow. You know, I've met so many, we consult with so many, businesses, and we see their values, we see their strategy. It's so complicated. Even the owners don't get it. You've got to make these things simple that people can believe in and actually start actioning it. So again, give you an example of how we were going to do it to help you, because your last 30 seconds, then you can not focus anymore. It's coming up, but you still got to laugh at my jokes, which includes that one. So our fragmentation, our tactics were to be world class. Got to pick up the phone in 3 rings. That is world class for a solicitor. We've got to have a net promoter score. A net promoter score is a client service. Has anyone heard of a net promoter score? It's a client scoring system. Top score is 100. Bottom score is minus 100. I've been told the average of solicitors, what do you reckon their net promoter score is? Minus 12. Our net promoter, bear in mind some of the best businesses in the world have got a net promoter score of about 70. Our fragmentation is we're going to have a net promoter score of 60%. So on the other line, what we're going to do, be indispensable to people. So what does that break down to on a daily basis? How many of you guys can get hold of solicitors easily? Are they always there waiting for your call, thinking, oh, okay, Mark's calling. I love to speak to Mark. He's such a lovely person. I love estate agents. So we made it, our tactic was we got to free up our lawyers to be available 80% of the day to take calls and think of solutions. That was our daily basis. And it's odd, isn't it? It's very different, but to be world-class, to achieve what you had to do something different. So when you look at your business, when you set your goals, what is really going to get you to that journey, to that destination? What's going to get you there? You need to take steps that are going to get you there. There's no point in me saying I want to lose weight and then do my 18,000 calories. It's not going to get me there. Joke. Okay, so your 30 seconds is coming up. Please write down maybe just 1 or 2 tactics about how doing this daily is going to get you to your goal. It's an investment of time, guys. So honestly, you go back to the office and it will just take over. Okay, so next. So you've got your goals, you've got your strategy, you know how you're going to do it, you know what you're going to do daily. But now you need a team. Because a strategy is not going to work without a team to deliver it. So when you look at a team, you need to break down your team. The team is really interesting for me when I discovered it is there's 3 parts to a team. There's the leaders of a team. Everyone needs a leader. They're the guys that set the direction. There are warriors. They're the guys that make sure the train